reviving and then also like documenting and also looking at the visual imagery, how it will change with the intended use, the change in intended use, and then yeah.
And so they're, active and practicing and
Yes,
doing.
I've been mobilizing a lot and going to the villages and then finding them whoever is interested and then like they're facilitating actively speaking to them and then also providing them with material and all that from the recycle and upcycle markets basically which I source from different places and then also engaging with them in a way where I try to bring out the stories of their forgotten past or their I mean in a very abstract thematic patterns but
Right,
still like,
right. Is it usually very abstract like this?
it is abstract like I mean it's not just them, it's like basically there is also another thing which I in the area like I mean
Do you want some water?
no,
Are you okay?
I have water.
Okay.
This is this quilting is practiced by a lot of communities in that area in North Karnataka, and it has it has its own history. Every community has their own history. Like recently, I met one community. The whole village they were practicing quilting. I was quite surprised, and it was somewhere near Janaga or something like that. So when I went and met them, asked the lady, why do you do this? Why are you doing this? The answer I got was like, I have to do it.
That's how we make our bed covers, or
no.
No?
So what it meant was like the caste she belonged to is like it's an occupational thing. So that was an interesting thing. Like the entire village had only people with that caste, and they had developed their own unique set of the trade system, how the women engage in the economics of this. Like I mean, each family would I assign themselves the village which they want to work with. They personally go to the village and pick up the stuff and then come back, do it and give it back to the thing. Like so, there are no clashes between the women. Like I mean. Between the villages, like okay, this is my village, this is my village. Like I think so. There also, like I mean, I see there is some generational thing. Like that family is like okay, if I'm going to Lakundi, Lakundi is a place. Like I mean, okay, that no other family would go to Lakundi. Only that family members would go to Lakundi, and the best bit is only women go there. Like so, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is like I mean through engaging with the cities, like I mean also learning a lot of the meanings, the thing which are held with different communities in the area. Like I mean, yeah, that is.
What do you mean by different? They're not part of the Siddhi community. Okay. So, is the Siddhi community in one particular area?
They are like everywhere. That's why, like I mean, I like to say like, see, the cities are in Gujarat also. They don't. I don't see them practicing quilting. Like I mean, so these guys are like influenced by the communities they live in.
Oh, I see. It's more like what was going on there.
The assimilation and then like it's also a need to put something together to protect themselves, like for the warmth and all that. I mean, and I mean, in India, how caste system plays this role, which discriminates people from community to community. Where I mean, it's difficult for them to reach out to another community to get the quilt made for them because it's also like because of their color, the race, the hair, they're obviously put as seen as a roast thing. So that is also one of the things which I've noticed. And not all women quilt. Like when I say all women, how do I say this? Only the communities which are exposed to the communities who work with quilting are the ones who pick up the thing.
Okay.
Have picked up the thing.
Okay.
Like in Karnataka, where I've been working, like I mean, like they've adapted to all the religions, like Hindu, Christians, and Muslims. Like Hindus, mainly I see them in deep forest. Like I mean, sometimes 2 or 3 houses becomes a village, and then they're not really exposed to other parts of the town or the district or whatever. Like I mean, so they mainly work in the Brahmin farmers. And they are treated badly, like as usual, like Dalits, like I mean, and then Christians usually live in hamlets, like on some 20 houses, 10 houses in middle of the forest. Forest becomes a thing, and then it's usually managed by the church.
Okay.
There also there's like a bit discrimination,
Yeah,
and
I would
yeah,
imagine.
because they have their separate church and they don't go to the churches. They are not allowed. Instead of saying they don't go, they are not allowed to go to other churches. Now Muslims, mainly I see them like I mean in big villages, but at the edge of the villages, like where the forest starts or ends, they will be there. Like, but they've integrated
They
into the thing.
become part of this
Yeah.
rather than making their own separate.
Yes, they are. So they live like among other communities. Like, it's not like I mean they made a specific area like there or something. But generally, like I mean, they are like I mean, yeah.
And you're saying that it's mostly women that practice
Yes,
this,
it's mostly
not men.
mostly men practicing. An interesting thing what I have also noticed is usually like I mean when I call it a generational knowledge, like I mean it's been practiced um, by moms, aunts, whatever they're doing. Like the kids who are there running around do pick up the skill without like I mean it's a very unintentional free motion which they pick it up, but they don't really practice when they are in their parents' house. The women, like I mean, the girls, like I mean, when they get married, I've noticed like somehow they pick that up and then they start quilting. Like I mean, at least I have some few examples. Like so, I'm also like trying to understand what is that drives them to like do this. Like as kids, like it looks like they don't. It's also looked at like a responsibility.
Okay, yeah. It's
One,
what you do when you're maybe an adult or in your own home.
yes, yeah, exactly. Like it's like one story which I know is like I mean a woman was she walked out of her marriage and then like I mean she's living with her sisters. When especially she was in her husband's house, I think she was not given anything to you know what they didn't have it, instead of saying not given, like maybe at the family. So she made a quilt from whatever, and then the family questioned her, oh, what, you can't just do it for yourself, like do it for the entire family. Kind of thing. Yeah. So the size also varies according to that, but she's like a master quilter. Like I mean, she also does for people in the community, like where they come and ask, they give the material and they ask like, okay, my daughter is getting married. Can you do?
Okay. I was gonna ask, is it for commercial purposes that they're making these?
No,
or-
that is why like I mean I kept insisting on saying that intended use. Like I mean the imagery also, the work changes. Even the fabric, the application of the fabric and the use of fabric also changes with the intended use. What I mean by that is like when they're doing a quilt for a new baby born or something, like I mean, then the way they do work on it is different, and then if it is like for gifting it to their daughter or something, it's different. And then if they're doing it for their own use at the houses, then the thing is different. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, this ended up in the Newark Museum of Art collection, and like how it ended up here, and what were the steps
Yeah,
We'd
this
have to.
looks like a lot of synthetic fabric.
Mm.
It's the fabric used from their own what the things what they use for their family.
Mm.
Yeah, and this is typical of old women wearing the cotton Dharwad saris, regardless of the religion and in the Siddhi community.
This pattern looks a lot like you would find in the Middle East also. It just reminds me of that.
You
what
would say
this particular pattern, it looks like it to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, probably if you put it side by side, it looks totally different.
It's a border of a sari
Yeah.
actually.
Oh,
I mean, she's just used it as a thing. Yeah. So this is also like, I mean, I'm also working on this, like, I mean, like how they make these pixels make meaning out of this pixel kind of a thing what they arrange here actually. So, see, actually the way it flows in is like, I mean, they start the work at the edge here at one corner and then it comes to the center, like, I mean. So what you see here, like, I mean, these triangles in the end, like, I mean, we think it's ritualistic, but actually it's not ritualistic, like in the community. It is like, for the artist to guide the method to go into the thing, like, I mean, yeah, it guides them to visually, like, I mean, gives some sense to go into the quilt, like work-wise also, like, I mean. So that is, and then also, sometimes like it depends on the artist. Like, I mean, like she has placed it, randomly. Sometimes they also make patterns out of these things. Like, how do I say? Like, maybe if it depends on their creativity, like she might make into a pyramid kind of a thing. A very familiar thing is like the Gopuram image, like what this call it, like, I mean, and the center there is an interesting thing where they always end the center with a rice grain or a roti. So it means let my belly let your belly be full, like, I mean, like, yeah. So it's like,
It's not, is
yeah,
it there?
Is
there a rice
you
grain?
can't see it, but there is
would be in
always,
there.
like,
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Just not touching.
Oh, sorry.
I know.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Is it? I was just wondering, like, is it like? I don't know. I'm sorry, I lost my thought. But does anybody else have questions? I'm wondering if you're thinking of anything as you see this.
Yeah, I was in Santa Cruz, like, and then